at all. Yes. And then find out after the fact we acted too harshly, right? Yes. That's the calculation.
Welcome back to Ron's Radio Corner. And I've taken like 10 attempts to try to film this video, and hopefully I will at some point get it right. But basically, here we have my 1964 General Electric radio, AM shortwave, and we're tuning in some AM channel.
So there are times when we just act because the threat is so great.
And you can tell this is sort of typical AM sound, right? It's not particularly clear, little background noise and interference.
Just hours. In fact, while they were
But the
still
thing is, if I pull that antenna away, it's completely useless.
round them all up and deport them all. Every last single one of them. They've self-deported themselves. They've announced themselves as enemies.
So today's video is about this antenna, which I purchased on Amazon, kind of a Christmas gift to me, after Christmas gift to me. The brand name is, you pronounce it, Sutekus. The funny thing is, despite the fact that this is the brand name, if you actually look at the antenna, it is labeled as a Tecsun AN200. That's what the box says. The antenna comes in the box, as does this cable, which you can use to hook up directly to a radio if your radio has an antenna input. Otherwise, it's an inductive loop. It's doesn't take any batteries, doesn't take any electricity. If you're watching this, you're probably already enough of a radio fan to know most of this, or all of this. Maybe you can tell me a few things. Probably can tell me a few things. But this really just works on the science of put it near and find the right location, the sweet spot, do a little fine tuning on the knob in the front, and stations that you couldn't pull in, suddenly you can pull in. Stations that you could pull in, but they were sort of staticky, not so clear, you can pull in with, and I hate to use the word fidelity, but you can pull in with a stronger signal, something that's more listenable. I've wanted one for a while, and where I keep going down the rabbit holes, I keep pointing out that I've purchased the C. Crane Justice AM antenna in the past, mostly because I read fantastic things about it and then realized it wasn't available on the C. Crane website anymore. And then saw it on eBay. This one, I believe, was never opened, so I picked this up. I haven't used this enough to tell you definitively, how well it works, it doesn't work. I can tell you that my attempts to use it, I wasn't blown away by the results. I don't know if that's fair. There's a lot of things that make a difference with reception. Rooms in the house, one room might be better than the other. Who knows why? Because one room's next to electrical equipment, the other one's not. One's next to windows, the other one's not. But what I found was that I could improve the signal on some stations, but I was getting bleed through on other stations from the closest AM station to me. And I was using it on my Sanjin WR16. And I really do need to pull this out of the box and really experiment with it. But one of the reasons I wanted to get one of these loops is because it's simpler than this. I mean, this requires a little bit of setup. There's cables attached to it, and a piece that you put, that you connect to the radio, and another piece that's a control box, and the other piece is antenna. This is it. No batteries, no plugs, no wires, no nothing. You just pull this out of the box. You set it next to your radio, and find the right placement for it. Do a little fine tuning, and suddenly you're listening to a station that you couldn't listen to before, like I just demonstrated at the beginning of the video. I really hope, to have an opportunity to kind of play around with this. And like I said, I've taken a few shots at trying to do this video, and I've chosen this radio because I know it's not a great performer. I mean, it pulls in the local channels, but it is certainly nothing like a Super Radio or an EP Pro. And when I can tell you, from the limited amount of time that I've spent with this antenna, this antenna does not make this an EP Pro or a Super Radio. I tried this last night, probably not the best time to try one of these antennas, and what I got was stations that I couldn't pick up clearly. I was able to pull in a little bit better, but certainly nothing that was suddenly, have me ratchet down the dial like, oh, there's another station, there's another station, there's another station. And then because I pulled this out last night, I ended up unboxing it and trying that. And I got very similar results. Again, I know this is not the time to try this antenna. This, it's better to try this in the daytime where, at least that's what I've, my reading and research has told me that, the daytime stations that you might not be able to pull in at all, suddenly you're getting a signal. Stations that are kind of weak, you're pulling in better. AM at night is probably if the conditions are right, it's probably already the optimal time. And so the benefit you get, I'm guessing, is going to be negligible. The same way I'm told that these antennas have very, very little benefit if you're using it on a radio or with a radio that's already a really good, medium wave performer. So at some point, what I would like to do is maybe run down the AM dial with this radio and see what I can pull in, and then bring this over and run down that AM dial and see what I can pull in, and then grab something like my Super Radio 3 or the EP Pro and run down the dial and see what I can pull in and get a better idea of just how much improvement this antenna with this radio works, maybe in this location, versus a radio that I know is a really good AM performer. But either way, it definitely does work, right? The station you just heard me pull in, I can't pull in without it. And it's really kind of fun to see that effect. So I would say if you have thought about picking one of these up and you haven't, look on Amazon, look on eBay, and see when you can see if you can land one for the right price, because there's nothing to this. I mean, there's stuff out there about you could build this yourself. I mean, see if you can land one for the right price and experiment, have a little fun with it. Somewhere down the road, maybe I can give you an idea of, this is, from what I've read, clearly, like, hands down at the time, it was maybe like the best AM antenna you could buy. That might be true. It's not my experience yet. I can't tell you that. What I can tell you is somewhere there is a point where you have to kind of factor in, if this is truly better than this, how much better, and does that justify the additional cost? I can buy one of these brand new for $30. This was brand new at $100. But I don't even know if you can buy them anymore unless you find them on eBay. So, if the improvement between the two isn't significant, is it worth the extra money? That only you can answer that question if you're shopping for one of these things yourself. So I'm going to leave it at that. Like I said, it's the Sutekus AN200. Although it's labeled the Tecsun, it's labeled Tecsun on the box. I managed to find this on Amazon, used like new for under 20. They normally go for 30 or a little over 30. A lot of times I see them with coupons. If you're interested in getting one, check it out. So far, this has been fun. It's been fun to play with in the very little amount of time I've done it. The video hasn't been so fun. I've really struggled to try to put something out there. So, if you've made it through the 10 minutes this video looks like it's going to go to, thanks for watching. Until the next time.